Hello, this is
Mrs. Adam.
and this is Mr. Adam, and this is our podcast, By the By. And hi, how y'all doing out there?
Hello, guys.
Huh?
And gals.
So, anybody who's joined us before knows that this is a podcast that we're kind of testing out and seeing how it goes for us. For bisexual folks and swingers and people who are, I'm going to say, outside the realm of what normal people call normal, but what we call better or more fun, yeah?
Absolutely.
That's right. So this is our second podcast. Our first podcast reined in at a grand total of 17 minutes. So hopefully we have a little more exciting stuff to talk about. I feel like we do. We had a big night last night. Today happens to be January 1. And
2016.
Oh, that's right, 2016.
Yeah.
Because this is going to be out forever.
I have to get used to writing a whole new year now.
So bad at that. So we went to a big New Year's Eve party. And we're going to tell you a bit about that and what happened and what we did and what we didn't do and what we thought and what we didn't think. It's going to be exciting.
I was going to say, that's assuming we had thoughts. Brain functioning.
Right.
Yes.
So yeah, hey. So we, a few months ago, or I guess a month ago or so, we decided that we wanted to go to the New Year's Eve party that was hosted in Sydney by Our Secret Spot. We had never actually been to the club, Our Secret Spot, so we thought it was a good idea or a good way to go down and see the club, and at the same time where they were having their pre-party, the actual New Year's Eve festivities, was at a location downtown where it was a penthouse, and you could have a beautiful view of the Sydney Harbour Bridge and the harbour and the Opera House and
all the fireworks.
Yeah. It was amazing. I mean, it's absolutely amazing, but I'm jumping ahead. So just kind of setting the scene. So I'm going to let Mrs. Adam talk about what she wore and how we might have came about that. Tell me a little bit about it.
Yeah, so we were, that's always one of those questions is what do you wear to both a New Year's Eve party and also, if you're going to end up following up with going to the club afterwards, it can be a hard decision to know what to wear, especially because we knew that there would be children at the pre-party, and so it can't be anything, too terribly revealing, although I think given the people that were there, it can be a little bit. So I kind of went round and round, and I had an old dress in my closet that I was planning on wearing, and
a very sexy dress, by the way.
It's a nice dress, but then the day before the party, we ended up at Max Black in Newtown, and we're only allowed to go there occasionally because we always buy something. But we ended up there, and they had a very nice latex dress that we had seen, and when I tried it on, it was absolutely gorgeous and one of those things that you just have to have. So we ended up buying that, and that's what I ended up wearing for New Year's Eve. So I had my latex dress on, and Mr. Adam was in a just some jeans and tuxedo jacket, something rather casual but still very nice.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I didn't look nearly as good as you did. As a side note, real quick, Max Black is a wonderful shop. We don't get paid or endorsed by them or anything for endorsing them, but we would endorse them for free for the rest of our lives. It's awesome, sex positive, wonderful shop that if you live in Sydney or in the Sydney area or anywhere in New South Wales or Australia, you should fly to Sydney just to go into Max Black. It's a great shop.
And great staff.
Yeah, and so we got a bit dolled up. Like she said, I had my black jeans on and my tuxedo jacket and a bow tie because that's a bit of a trademark. And yeah, we were excited. I was excited, at least. Were you excited?
Absolutely. Yeah.
She looked absolutely amazing. And
thank you.
We'll come upon all the people that were talking to her once we got there. But so we ended up swinging by. We went with our wonderful friends over at Swinging Down Under, C&D. Went to their place. We got a cab and made it into the city. Upon arriving, the building itself was I'm gonna say I I'm not gonna say I was less than impressed, but
We weren't entirely sure what to expect,
we
honestly,
had no
because
idea.
because all we knew that was that it was going to be at a location in town and at this penthouse, and so we walk up and it was a bit of I don't think any of us really quite knew what to expect, and so we ended up we got to the location and went up to the penthouse level, and of course there were people there to greet us and usher us in and tell us kind of what was what and where to go and whatever. So that was really helpful.
Yeah. Once we got up to the penthouse, it's just amazing. I mean,
Yeah.
the city itself is stunning, but
And great views from there, yeah.
great views from the penthouse. I mean, anybody, whenever you hear the word penthouse, I think I get a bit splooshy. I melt a little, and I'm like, ooh, that's
Yeah.
how it all begins.
And admittedly, when we got there too, there were a fair number of people already, but it wasn't too crowded yet.
No.
And of course, over the next half hour or so after getting there, I think most people filed in, and it there were a lot of people, but it never felt like super crowded. I don't think.
No, I agree. I agree with that.
So it was a good use of the space and a good number of people, I suppose, for the space.
A lot of good-looking people. Too,
Yes,
as well.
absolutely, a lot of great looking
Yeah,
people.
it was nice. It's always good to go and see some eye candy, lovely dresses, lovely shoes. All the ladies were decked out. And most of the guys actually put shirts on, so that was a plus.
Yeah.
And it was good. Yeah. So we got there and looking around, enjoying the views, watching some of the bit of the air show that always apparently happens before the Sydney Harbor fireworks. It was good. It was exciting. Had admittedly a bit nerves. I always get really nervous before nights like these. I build up in my brain, in my mind, what it's supposed to be like and what I'm supposed to be like, and if I deviate from that script and that I put in my brain and don't actually tell anybody else, I tend to freak out a bit. So once we got there, I had a couple of glasses of champagne. I pretty much sculled the first one and sipped the second. But yeah,
I think there's always a lot of pressure that people put on themselves for holidays, and particularly New Year's, because everybody thinks, oh, it's supposed to be this great big party holiday and whatnot, and it doesn't always have to be. At the end of the day, as long as you're having fun and enjoying yourself, and that's kind of why we wanted to go to this party, because we wanted to check it out. And we wanted to be around people who were like-minded and have similar interests to us in some respects, and just meet a lot of new people as well.
And that's a good thing to point out, because this was a party that integrated both the swinger culture and more vanilla folk.
Yeah.
This wasn't just a whole group of swingers. So it was very kind of interesting. All of us that were going on to our secret spot, the club, afterwards, we all had wristbands on.
We were marked.
Which is why next year I was talking to Dee, and I think we're going to wear scarlet letter A's.
Oh, okay.
Because I think that's what everybody expects us, our folks, to do. But yeah, no, it. So we were integrating with more vanilla people, which is absolutely fine. But it's interesting as well, because as the night went on. So anybody who doesn't know, the Sydney does 2 sets of fireworks. The first set is at 9 p.m. and the second set, of course, is at midnight. And the first set is basically for the kids. You put them to bed and then or whatever, and then the second set is for all the adults. But after that first set of fireworks, we started grouping together.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody with wristbands all started getting together and chit-chatting and talking, and we met some absolutely lovely people that we're hoping to catch up with in the near future. It was kind of interesting.
It was a very positive environment.
Yeah, it was really good. A lot of people just walking up, and this is where I'll talk about a bit about Mrs. Adam. The dress that she wore, as she said, was latex, and there's pictures on Twitter that I've posted. So dig through our Twitter feed and you can see some of those pictures. But it was pretty awesome, because random people would walk up to her and just because she looked stunning. She is stunning. But people would walk up to her and comment on the dress, and it was one of those awesome things where she's got a zipper that goes from her left shoulder down across her body and to her right hip. and everybody wanted to pull that zipper.
I think we needed to have a do not pull tag on it.
Yeah. We kept referring to it as a grenade.
Yeah.
If you pull it, she's just going to explode, and there's going to be little bits of her everywhere. But that happened later. We'll get to that. So she was very popular in her very lovely, shiny dress. Seriously, it was so shiny. Like when she walked upstairs and I was behind her, I could see my face in her ass. It was fantastic.
It was very shiny.
She has a fantastic ass.
Thank you.
So it was a good party. We really enjoyed it. We had good conversations, met some really nice people. The fireworks were absolutely amazing, and I think what was great about it is it was sort of that, as New Year's Eve is, it constantly builds toward midnight, and there was that wonderful sexual tension that was in the air because everybody with a wristband on, we all knew where we were going afterwards.
Yeah.
So we were very excited and very looking forward to going to that, and a little bit of playful flirting amongst couples and groups and whatnot, and it was good. I will say, as a bit of a side, being a bisexual male it's interesting. The swinger community is much more open to bisexuality amongst females than it is amongst males, which is a bit of a bummer.
I think that's society in general, but yes.
Yeah.
Even, I guess you should say even in the swinger community.
I should say even in the swinger community. Because, Mrs. Adam here, she had many, girls come up and grope her,
not overtly,
but a friendly pat on the ass, or grabbing her waist, or just sweet.
Even just putting your arm around someone.
Whereas with guys, that's not accepted. I don't have an understanding of that, and I refuse to believe that bisexuality amongst males is more rare than bisexuality amongst females. We're all human. So that's a bit of a bummer, because it's hard to be a bi guy in a group like this and see all these attractive guys and want to flirt with them a bit, but not really.
Because you want to be playful just like the girls are.
Yeah, exactly.
And why should it be any different?
And I don't want to. It's not. Yeah. Nothing's ugly. It's just we're just trying to be.
Yeah.
We're all just trying to be friends here. So there was a lot of play and watching Mrs. Adam here. Flirt with the girls, and that was always fun and all. But there's still that bit of that underlying stress, and again, perhaps I just need a couple more drinks. But I tend to be really conscientious of who I flirt with and how I flirt, because I don't want to make anybody uncomfortable.
Yeah, and how receptive they are.
Yeah, and that's, I don't know. Perhaps that's something I need to fix amongst myself.
Well, I think it's a bit of you have to be conscious of how receptive. When you're flirting with a guy, how receptive they are, but also, it's a bit on them as to how willing they are to show their receptiveness, because they may be okay with it, but in a very public setting, it can be that societal pressure of, do I show that it's okay or not? Whereas in a more private setting, like at the club later on, it may be more acceptable.
True.
True.
But, it's funny, because I felt like I flirted with a couple of guys, and it went pretty well, but again, I tend to hold myself back. I really do hold myself back, because I don't want to say I'm ashamed, because I'm absolutely not. I like the cock. What can I say? But I don't want to make people feel uncomfortable. But I think I do that with women as well. I don't think I'm not an aggressive flirter. I'm an aggressive recipient of flirts. Flirt away, male, female. I don't care. I like being told I'm pretty.
You are pretty.
Oh, tell me more about my eyes.
Mm-hmm.
So the pre-party was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it, actually, and I can definitely foresee us going back to that next year, because it was a great venue.
It was a good time. It was a good venue, great people. Yeah, the food was good. It was just a very enjoyable experience all around.
Yeah. I really don't have anything really negative to say about the pre-party.
Mm-mm.
No,
it was quite good.
Yeah. So after the fireworks, the big show, Mrs. Adam made the run to the bathroom, which we all knew would take good forever, and 10 minutes later she finally made it back, halfway because of the latex dress and pulling it up and down, I imagine, but mostly because everybody and their mother was going to the bathroom as well, and so poor girl had to stand in line for quite a while. So while she did that...
10 minutes isn't bad. That's... Nah.
If you're a boy, 10 minutes is... We're not used to that.
No.
No.
Girls always have to wait.
The world is my urinal.
Yeah.
I just point and shoot.
No.
It's great.
No. Girls always have to wait. It's not that easy.
Jeez. How do you girls do it? Ugh.
It's tough being a girl.
It's all planning.
Yeah.
You plan to pee.
You have to go before you have to go.
I love it. Yeah, so we got ourselves put together, had our alcohol, and this is actually, I'm diverting again. So this is actually the first club that we had gotten ready to go to since we went in the States.
Mm-hmm.
And when we went in the States, it was done a bit differently. So down here they put numbers on your alcohol, and that was a big shock to us. Which apparently...
well, that way you can tell, whose belongs to who, because it's all BYO, and so that way you know that it's yours and
it's
whatever.
Genius.
Yeah.
It's genius. I just was like, oh, look, my number is this, and this is where my alcohol is. So we gathered up our alcohol, and we walked the block and a half to the club. The club is very almost hidden. I love it. It's sort of it harkens back to the speakeasy thing. You walk around a corner, you read a little button, and this voice comes across and goes, "Who goes there?" It's not really like that, but
in your head it is.
In my head it was.
Yeah.
And then you say the secret password, and the secret handshake, and then they let you in.
Mm-hmm.
We walked in. I got to say, I was really impressed when we first walked into our secret spot. Was instantly, I'm not going to say taken aback, but I was like, wow, this is not exactly what I was expecting. It was a positive thing, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you agree?
Absolutely, yeah.
So amongst first walking in, it was very clean. It was packed to the gills with folks.
And from what we hear, that it was a little more packed than normal, I'm sure because of the New Year's festivities and, a lot of people coming straight out the other party. And Mr. Adam may get to this later, but that did clear out after a little while. A lot of folks left after the first hour and a half or so. I think it was busier than normal, but that was to be expected. I mean, any kind of holiday like this, I expect it to be a lot busier than normal. to
So it's funny because I'm going to touch on that a bit, and we'll come back to the main story, but we're going to go off on a tangent / rant.
That's what we do
for a moment, because I'm a ranter, and I'm going to sound like I'm an elitist, and anybody who knows me knows I'm not an elitist. But one of the things that we ran across was many of these people were clearly going out only because it was New Year's Eve. Now, admittedly, we said that the only reason we went was because it was New Year's Eve party and we wanted to check out the club. But we got the feeling from a number of couples that the only reason they were coming to in fact, one of the folks that we talked to, this was their first time.
Yeah.
And it's just...
And the only time that they do play or do anything like that might be New Year's Eve. Yeah.
This is not the time to do this, folks. If you are new and you are trying to... break out and do something different. Much like you should never make a resolution on New Year's Eve, don't start swinging on New Year's Eve, because it's going to be a bad experience. It's overrun. There's just a lot of folks out there, and I mean, if you're going with the shotgun approach, maybe, but I don't think this is. My advice to you is go on some other random non-holiday weekend.
Yeah.
Go to all the clubs down here, and I know OSS. I think they do it once a month at least. They have like newbie night where they invite new people who are typically this might be their first time, or they're very young in the swinger lifestyle. Do that. Don't go on New Year's Eve because everybody and their brother is there.
It's a little awkward with your brother too. Gotta say, you want to keep it in the family, but
right,
I don't know.
Right. I mean, we are from the Southeast.
Yeah.
And they just passed that law where you can divorce your wife, but she's still your sister. You're going to hear that joke again, I promise you.
Yeah, you probably will.
I love that joke, but it's true. Everybody's out there, and it's hard to.
It can be hard to focus even just because there's so many people.
Yeah.
get a bit overstimulated, a bit like, where do I look? What do I do? I don't know.
It gets to be intense.
Yeah.
It's if you are overwhelmed, it is not going to be a fun experience for you. And walking around the club, seeing people playing, and seeing a few people just watching, and a couple of the fights that we heard while we were there amongst couples, it's obvious that
arguments, but yeah.
Running out the door and slamming the door. That
I don't think that's a normal thing, but yeah.
Well, still, but that's it's overwhelming, and emotions and alcohol tends to run freely, which is another thing that I think is a bad mix. Of don't mix too much alcohol and then start swinging. But yeah, so back to the main story.
Walking in. Yep. Sorry, I diverted for a bit.
I think we both diverted for a bit. So we get in. Really impressive place. Nice little seating area when you first walk in. The next room has a stripper's pole, which C did a wonderful routine on later on. That was really impressive. That girl got game. That's all I'm going to say. She got game. We tried to convince Mrs. Adam, who has done classes in the past, to do it, but the most that we could get her to do is commit to doing another class with C later on. So looking forward to round 2 of that. Anyway,
maybe at a later date.
We dropped off our alcohol at the little booth. Then we went to the locker room, and we stood for a very long time because I think in a room that was probably meant to hold at tops 8 people, there was probably 14 to 16 people in there when we first got in.
Yeah, because there were so many people going all at the same time that everybody's trying to change and put their things away and whatnot. Whereas, on a normal evening, that's spaced out over, the course of the night because everybody's getting there at different times. It's staggered a bit. Whereas this particular, New Year's Eve, everybody was going all at once. So we just kind of stood back, let it clear out a bit, and then went in.
Yeah, hashtag swinger problems, hashtag New Year's Eve. So it was
patience.
It was all about patience to begin with. Mrs. Adam unzipped that lovely dress. I think the biggest problem about that was she did it in this locker changing room area, and the world did not get to appreciate her lovely breast bouncing out all over the place. And
there'll be other opportunities.
It's true, but that image will forever be beautifully replayed in my mind. She changed into this really nice, I always call it her Sergeant Pepper lingerie. It's just bra and panties and really nice garter belt, and it's kind of red and black and has little gold buttons on it because she looks like she should be marching in Sergeant Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. But yeah, so she changed into that. I just stripped out of my shirt and went with just black jeans and barefoot and shirtless for a while. So we left the locker room, which again was well appointed, was well put out. It was. I can't say really anything negative so far about the club.
No,
it was a good place. But we left. We left the locker room, and what did we do? Oh, so the first thing we did was we lost C&D.
Yes. So we took a little self-tour around the club as we were looking for them and discovering all the different rooms and what they had.
And I think that's another thing. Again, for new folks, newbies, don't go on New Year's Eve because under a normal situation, I'm going to call them the host and hostess of our secret spot. Under a normal situation in most clubs like this, they will take you on a tour and show you all the different rooms, all the different accoutrements, and just give you kind of a walking tour of it. They were covered the fuck up. There were so many people there. They just didn't have time.
Yeah.
And it's not a bash against them or a sign of quality of them. They were busy helping people.
Yeah. And it wasn't too bad for us because we have been in other clubs before, and so
it wasn't new for us.
Yeah, so you kind of know generally what to look for, what there's going to be, you know what to expect. But if you haven't been before, or aren't really sure, then you definitely want to wait until there's a time when you can have someone show you around.
Yeah.
And introduce you to this is that, whatever. This is what this room is for, that kind of thing, and yeah. But they were super super busy, so.
So I immediately walked up the first set of stairs I saw because I thought, oh, well, maybe they went upstairs. not realizing that the layout of the club is I'm going to say 90% of the playrooms are upstairs, and the downstairs is meant for sort of a meet and mingle kind of situation. So I went upstairs, and it ended up being a group playroom with a spa, jacuzzi, tub, whatever you want to call it, and a ginormous bed, and walked in on, I don't know, 6-8 people fucking on the bed. And I thought to myself, self, well done. This is just awesome, because, I mean, who doesn't like to watch people having sex on the bed? I don't care what they look like. It's always arousing to watch people have sex. It's like watching pure happiness. It's like watching bees make honey. Like, this is what we're meant to be. This is what we're meant to do. But C&D weren't up there, so I politely stared for another good 45 seconds.
Well, it'd be rude not to.
Touched myself a bit, and then walked back down the stairs. So I guess we found C&D sitting on one of the couches.
Yeah, in the meet and mingle area.
Yeah, in the meet and mingle area. Again, another sign that the club was over full was that there were people blatantly playing in the meet and mingle area. Yeah. Which typically is...
And it could also be people that, either just because it was busy, or people maybe that didn't realize that you're not really supposed to down there.
It's not a hard rule, but it is
a suggestion.
A strong suggestion.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know, because you don't want to walk into anywhere. You want to have safe places. I think that's another big positive about many of these clubs is they have these safe areas where, let's be realistic, if you get overstimulated and you're like, I need to get away from sex, you can go down to these meet and mingle areas
and just chill
have
out.
A nice glass of wine, or you're just sort of chilling the hell out, and that's what you're looking for.
Yeah.
But we had kind of done a quick pass through all the rooms upstairs, and they were all chock full with people. So we went downstairs and chatted and had a glass of wine for a bit. And then I reckon we went into the, I'm not going to call it a torture room. That seems like a strong word. I should say at this point as well, I had, we're going to go on another tangent.
Okay.
Yeah. Get on my soapbox again. So I had, and I'm calling it a dog collar. I had a dog collar on.
Mm-hmm.
It is not a dog collar. It is not a collar meant for a dog. However, I am from the South, and we don't put collars on many things that aren't dogs. I saw a collar on a cat and a collar on a cow once, but come on. So I got this collar on, and we purchased it as well from Max Black. Thank you, Max Black. Where's my VIP card? Seriously, folks. So I had my dog collar on, and we're gonna jump back in the story a bit, and was talking to a nice lady at the beforehand party in the penthouse, and I commented she was wearing a collar as well, and I just commented on it being a lovely dog collar, and she looks at me and goes, "Well, I'm not a dog. It's not." She goes, "What'd you call this? It's not a dog collar. I'm not a dog." Well, granted, you're not a dog. You're a lovely lady. She was very pretty, but I don't know. I feel like
it's so for us, and maybe it is just coming from the South, but it's ingrained in us. I'm gonna say culturally, but that's just what you call it. I mean, growing up, we all had dogs, and it was always just a dog collar. And I realized that it's no. I mean, Mr. Adam is not a dog by any means.
I will hump your leg incessantly, though.
But it's just a term. It's just a word,
it's just words, and it's
and I understand that some people could mistake it, that it is for subs and not for dogs. But it at the same time, for us, when we're talking about it to each other, that's what we say. And I don't think any of our friends take any offense to it. But I suppose maybe when talking to others, maybe we should be more conscious of that. I don't know.
Yeah, or other people just need to chill the fuck out.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's just a term.
It's just a word.
Yeah.
And words, like everything else, it's not the word is not the bad thing. It's the intention behind it. And I had
and you didn't say it in a bad way. You didn't say it
dog collar.
Yeah,
no,
you didn't say it in a demeaning way.
No,
so,
I mean it's I just don't understand people. I mean, I do get, it goes back to the labels things. I think I mentioned to it last time. I love to be labeled, but I don't like labels. And this is part of the reason I don't like labels is because you say the wrong thing and somebody, gets very upset, and I don't want to upset people. I really don't. But yeah, it's a dog collar. Mrs. Adam has a leash. In fact, she commented when we purchased the leash, also from Max Black, where is my VIP card? That we, once we got a dog, she could walk the dog with the same leash she walks me with. I'm just going to stick to the...
It has its purpose.
Anyway, so...
Whatever scenario you use it in, it has its purpose.
Let's go back to the main story. So. Soapbox once again shoved to the side, and I am stepping down.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now. She's on the Google. I don't know what she's searching for.
I was just trying to see if that particular room had a particular name.
Oh, she's on OSS's website.
But I'm not sure that it does, or I can find it quickly anyway.
Okay. It's a playroom. It's a playroom. And in this playroom, there are stocks. And by stocks, I don't mean and bonds. Well, actually, interesting. Wow, that mind blown. Stocks and bonds. God, I should have been a financier. No, the stocks where you put your head and kind of arms through, and your ass is bent over. And then I don't remember what the cross is called. It's like a Jacob's cross or Jerusalem cross or
something like that.
It's somebody's cross. Anyway, so we get into this room and there's all these lovely floggers and whips and crops. Oh my! I felt like I felt like Alice in Wonderland.
Mr. Adam likes a little bit of pain, in case you have not figured that out.
Oh, God, whip me.
And we do.
If you can make me cry, then challenge. That's a challenge. No one's ever made me cry.
Yeah. So yeah, we spent a bit of time in that room.
Yes, so I
for
got
a little while.
I got tied down to the giant cross, which I don't know the name, but I'll figure it out later. And C and Mrs. Adams, they beat the hell out of me. It was great. For a while, it was very good cop, bad cop. This room has curtains as well, so anybody passing by can stop and stare. And I think at one point we had quite an audience.
There was a bit of an audience.
I think there was maybe 10, 12 people. I'm sorry, it's a St. Andrew's cross. Ah, there you go. I think it was somebody's cross. Gotta love them saints. So I was tied down to that, and they were whipping and smacking, and it was good cop, bad cop, in which Mrs. Adam would flog me for a little while, and C would make these really sweet, kind, like soft kisses on the back of my neck, and kiss on my ear and cheek, and she was so sweet, and then she would hit me. It was great. And occasionally even D-Man got in on it.
Yeah.
He had the riding crop, and I have to, the ladies were good, but that boy's got some muscles in his wrists and arms, because the ones that stung and the ones I remember and the ones that left a mark were the ones I'm pretty sure that he whipped me with. And that was...
I think everyone had fun in that room.
I think so.
Yeah.
That was good times.
But it is nice because in that room, as Mr. Adam alluded to, there are curtains, and so you can draw the curtains if you don't want people to watch, or you can open them if you do. And at first we had them open. I think we actually went in there twice, and the first time the curtains were open, and then the second time they were drawn when we went in, so we just didn't even think twice to open them. But a few people kind of opened them a little bit and peeked in,
which, again, people, don't do that. If the curtains are closed, it means fucking stay out. That again goes back to New Year's Eve newbies.
Yeah. People
who do not know how to behave in these clubs. They think that these are the same people that, I'm gonna say it, and I'm gonna get yelled at, I'm sure, by some out there. These are the same people that don't understand the rules of consent. No means no, and a closed curtain is a firm and strong no. So if you don't understand that is...
Just sit back and listen, but you don't need to watch if the curtain's closed.
If the curtain's closed, you're not invited. You're not part of that party. We left that room and went, after that time, we went wandering around again. We sat in the main opening room for a little while, and again, typically not a room that you would have any kind of sexual activity in, but we did watch a couple of ladies
Having some fun together.
Having some fun together, yeah.
Yeah.
Almost went into the South Park finger bang song. But
Love
due
that
to
song.
Due to copyright things, I'm not going to sing it. I want to so bad, though.
It's a fantastic song, and it gets stuck in your head so easily.
It does. Anyway, look it up. So, yeah, we sat out there for a little while, had a few more drinks. We kicked around the idea of leaving at that time. Again, because it was so bloody crowded. Every room was just covered up. And so
But we hung out for a bit longer. We stuck it out
for a bit longer, and then made it back into the St. Andrew's Cross room, dungeon room. This time we got C up there on the cross, and
got
Mrs.
you.
Adam and D took their turns playing with her. I tried to play good cop, but I am clearly not either. I am neither a good cop nor a bad cop. I'm just a bad cop. So I sat in the corner and touched myself while they touched her with some of the leather goods.
Yes.
Again, back to the newbies night. We had another couple come in, and they watched for a while, and that was fine because the door was open. They were allowed to come in and watch. But then the lady came up behind Mrs. Adam and started groping on her and playing with her, again, without asking. And
and it's okay to do that, but just ask.
Yeah.
Or,
May I play? Is that hard to say?
Yeah.
I don't know. Can I join in? I don't know. I still have issues with. I have so many.
It must be a hard concept.
I'm very strong into consent. Consent is such an important thing.
It's imperative. Yeah.
In this world, in this lifestyle, if you aren't explicitly asked to join or asked to play, you don't.
No.
You don't just assume. Just because you're in a club that could be considered a sex club or is a sex club doesn't mean that you're free to have sex.
Doesn't give you carte blanche to do whatever you want.
No. So be polite, people.
Yeah.
Ask.
Yeah.
May I? Can I?
Yes.
Should I? Could I? It's not hard. Anyway. Again,
yeah, and as soon as she did, I did step back and made it very clear that that's not acceptable.
Yeah.
And she got it. She stepped back. She didn't do it anymore.
And then they left.
Yeah.
Good times. But yeah, and then I got another turn on the cross, and I came away with a few marks.
Even more fantastic.
Oh my god, it was awesome. Because I started mocking the girls, making fun of their style and how hard they could hit me.
So we started hitting harder.
So they did, and my back, I still have marks now, and that's been nearly 24 hours. So, but they're good marks. Yeah.
Fun marks.
Fun marks. So yeah, we played in that room for a little while longer. Yeah, if you have never had your bare ass hit with a riding crop, it's fantastic. Fantastic.
Not everyone's into that.
Not everyone's into that, but if give it a shot.
You always have to. So our theory is that we always give it a try.
Yep.
We don't know we don't like it until we try. I mean, now there are some things, of course, that are far over our lines.
2 girls, 1 cup is a no.
But in a lot of ways, it's like, well, we don't know if we like it or not. So we'll give most anything a try once, and just to see. And it doesn't mean we're going to do it again. And we'll talk about it and determine if we liked it or if we didn't, or what we liked or didn't like. But maybe something we need to alter a little bit. But yeah, Mr. Adam is definitely into pain, and so I'm more than willing to give it to him.
So we should do a show in the future on our just things that we've tried.
That would be a good one, yeah.
First time tries. That would be fun. That would be awesome.
Oh, that could be entertaining.
Yeah, we sort of consider. I don't even know if it's really a real word, but I always say trisexual. You have to try something before you can say, yeah, I don't like it. Because many times
it's like food.
Yeah.
There's a lot of food that
sounds gross. But once you put it in your mouth, you're like,
Exactly. So just give it a try.
That's right.
See how it goes. You don't have to do it again.
You don't have to do it again. Yeah.
And that's also why you have safe words.
That's right. And actually, admittedly,
we
that
did
was
get
the
to
first time ever that I used my safe word.
That's
was
true.
That second time around.
Yep.
Because they started wailing on me. And
that's what you get for egging us on.
I know, right? Typically when Mrs. Adam and I are playing alone, she, it's like it's like a heartbeat. It's bump, 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 or whatever. That's just how it is. But
there's a rhythm.
There's a rhythm to
even
it.
if you don't mean to. There's a rhythm.
Yeah,
it's just human nature.
You always end up with that pattern. And that pattern is predictable. And then when you mix...
When you get 3 people going at once.
Yeah, and it was even worse because, Mrs. Adam here, she has a pattern, and then C had a pattern, and those kind of blended well. And then out of nowhere, D-Man would come up and just whack. And shit, that hurt. Oh, God. There was close to tears at one point.
Yeah.
But it was good.
Yeah.
Like happy tears. Happy tears.
But again, that's why you have safe word.
That's right.
And when you say the safe word, everything stops. You let them out.
And I have to give both of them credit
Yeah.
because I know that is. No, I'm not going to say it's not their scene, but it's not something that they are
regular
as comfortable with. I don't think.
Yeah.
And I said the safe word, and Mrs. Adam was like, "Wait, did he say the safe word?" And both of them were unband.
Yeah.
Each one was undoing an arm so I could get free.
Yeah.
And it was great because I think I shook. My body was over adrenalized, so I was trembling, shaking with very much positivity for at least 5, 7, 10 minutes afterwards. It was great. Yeah, so we then went back to the meet and mingle room, and we went upstairs, and we peeked in a couple rooms. Again, it's great. You walk into a room and 6, 7 people are fucking, 3 people are watching them, either touching themselves or touching the neighbors.
Occasionally somebody would be in the shower.
Yeah, occasionally somebody would be in the shower, and
Yeah.
the jacuzzis were full of people. And remarkably, the private room, one of the private rooms, I guess maybe the only private room, opened up, and so the 4 of us popped in there, with all intent and purposes, I think, to play.
Yeah.
However, it was a bit undercleaned. Again, this is not a reflection of the location. This is a reflection of the fact that people are animals and refuse to clean up after themselves. If you use a condom, throw it the fuck away.
Yeah.
Don't just take it off and put it on the side table. Who does that? Where would you do that? Would you do that at your partner's house?
Yeah, you wouldn't do that at home. Don't do it there.
No.
Yeah.
It just kills me, and it's just like it goes back to people are fucking animals.
Yeah. And it was just so busy that it's just hard to police everything or to go through and clean up after every time somebody finishes and whatever. It's impossible
many of us were lining up outside the room.
Yeah.
It was busy.
Yeah, so it's impossible for anyone to go through and clean up behind everyone. You should just common courtesy clean up after yourself.
It's not hard.
Yeah.
Well, at that point, it's not hard because you've used it and it's starting to soften up. And you're probably wanting to take a nap. But it's not difficult.
Yeah.
It just kills me. Ugh. But with Mrs. Adam and myself, as the names may tell you, we are both scientists as a background, and so when we look at these lovely white sheets, we see bacteria and nasty shit crawling all over them. And so I look at her and I'm like, are you gonna lay on that? And she's like, fuck no.
No.
No, not gonna happen.
Yeah. Another night, but not that night.
Yeah. So we looked at C&D and we're like, hey, why don't we take this party somewhere else?
Mm-hmm.
So we packed, went back, got dressed, packed up our stuff. I'm going to take another side note here. There was a lot of lovely people walking around naked. I saw a lot of cocks.
Absolutely. Pretty people everywhere.
I think we've touched on this in the past. On the Kinsey scale, I'm probably a strong 4, and Mrs. Adam is probably a 3 to 4.
Low 4, yeah.
Meaning that we both have a predilection to our own sex rather than our opposite sex. So again, it goes back to, I'm looking at these guys and I'm definitely checking these guys out, and I'm thinking of all these wonderful nasty things I'd like to do with these guys and let them do to me. And I'm not comfortable talking to people about that. I'm not comfortable asking people. And I think it's mainly because I don't want to make people uncomfortable. And that's weird.
It's a hard line to draw, to know where to be on that line, I guess I should say, in that you don't want to make people uncomfortable, but at the same time, if you don't put your interest out there, then they're not going to know that you're interested. And if they're interested as well, then you get that stalemate of nobody's expressing their interest. And
But again, women are so fluid. You see these women and you sit down and you're like, oh, let's, these random women are kissing and these random women are whatever. But you never see, that doesn't happen with guys in clubs like this. It just doesn't happen. And I don't know if it's because guys aren't interested or if it's because
too reserved.
They're too reserved or they're more likely afraid of what people are going to think about them. Because I'm going to be honest, I have enough experience. I think I give a better blowjob than most women. I'm going to say that.
From what I've heard, that's what I hear from guys. About you.
Yeah, I'm very good. I have lots of experience. That's another show, though. We'll talk about numbers later on. Y'all in the world are gonna have to be sitting down when we have that conversation. But yeah, it was. I saw a lot of very attractive cocks.
Absolutely.
I also saw a number of very attractive breasts. The women.
There's a lot of pretty people there.
A lot of fucking pretty people out there. And I think many of them ended up going to this club last night.
Some very nice eye candy,
for
sure.
It was great.
Like female, male, all of it. Yeah.
Good stuff. I will say nobody had a body, a waist, an ass, or tits, or the full like package like Mrs. Adam. Oh God.
Well, that's why we're married, because you think that.
Actually, it's not why we're married, but it's fortunate that I think that.
Yes, there you go.
With us being married, let's put it that way.
That's a better way to say it.
Yeah, we won't say why we're married. We'll let that remain a mystery. I don't know. So yeah, it was good. We left, got packed up, left, said our goodbyes, and I do want to give a shout out to the lovely lady working behind the bar who grabbed my collar and smacked me full across the face. That was cute lady.
Yeah,
I liked her. She was
very personable.
I'm not going to say a working girl, but she was working and she was a girl behind the bar. She's very great personality, gorgeous woman, and really good right cross. So shout out to you, lovely lady. I think you know who you are. So we packed up and we got a cab, and this was we left at about 3?
Probably 3-ish.
3 in the morning?
Yeah.
And then we made it to a local burger joint.
Had a quick bite to eat.
There's a 24/7 burger joint that is even open on New Year's Eve, New Year's morning at 3:30 in the morning. Bless you, Sydney, Australia.
Just what we needed at that time.
It was exactly what we needed. So we ended up going again with C&D. And we decompressed with them a little bit and debriefed and talked about what turned us on, what didn't turn us on,
which I think is important in any relationship. I mean, we do that amongst ourselves, but given the type of relationship we have with them and some of our other friends, it especially in a group setting where we're going into something like that, I think it is important to know what we like or didn't like. If we go back again with them, because we'll go back, it's just a matter of with or without them, and if they do happen to be there at the time, then it's kind of helpful for everybody to know what turns the other ones on and whatnot. Yeah. Like any good relationship, communication's key.
Yeah, we can't. I don't think we can say that enough.
Yeah.
I mean, all relationships, whether it's with your partner or with your friends, with your family, your parents, your children, communication is so important. It's paramount. But so we at that point we left the burger joint. I think it was 4 a.m.
Yep. Started wrapping up the evening from there.
We decided, unfortunately, it was too late to play.
I think we're all pretty exhausted by then.
We were all fucking tired. God, we're old people.
Well, most of us had worked the day before as well. It's like most people I think did, and so it was a really long day. And we're at some point you just got to call it and say we're done.
Yeah, Mrs. Adam and I were fortunate enough to have an hour-long nap, I think, on New Year's Eve before we went out. But
nano nap.
A nano nap. Yeah, that wasn't enough. So we dropped them. I say we dropped them off. We made it back to their place, and
then we headed out from there. Yeah,
because Mrs. Adam hadn't had nearly enough alcohol.
I did. I had enough, just not enough that I couldn't drive. No, I was driving. Absolutely. I was very good over the course of the evening, and we've all had those. Well, many of us have had those New Year's Eves where you get totally wasted,
like last year,
and don't really remember a lot. by the end of the evening, and I decided that this year, especially going to the club for the first time and checking it out and whatnot, that I wanted to be pretty freaking sober, and so that I would both remember it and be able to have a good impression of it and really enjoy it and whatnot. So I made a conscious effort to really not drink much, especially after midnight. I didn't really drink at all, because I wanted to have a good, clear first impression and experience with that. And again, just because I didn't want that to cloud my judgment, or go wake up the next day and be like, oh yeah, we made it to the club and I don't remember anything.
That's true.
So then it's kind of pointless to go for a first time and not remember anything.
But then every time can be your first time.
That's a good point.
So yeah, we made it home, and I was a little tipsy. I'm not gonna say I was drunk, but I was tipsy. I was pleasantly tipsy. Again, probably going back to nerves and just being nervous most of the night because I'm a nervous guy. But we made home. We were attacked by a large huntsman spider as soon as we got home in our bedroom, of all places. And if you don't know what a huntsman spider is, if you live in the States and don't know what a huntsman spider is, please Google it. It's huntsman, Huntsman. Scared the living.
They're not poisonous, but they're very large and hairy and scary, and Mr. Adam is very scared of spiders.
What a horrible way to start the new year. I mean, we had this wonderful party, we had fireworks, we had beautiful people that we met, we went to a club, we saw all kinds of naked people fucking, and then you come home to a hairy-ass spider near your bed. No, nobody likes that. That's not a good way to start the new year. I freaked the fuck out, people.
He freaked out a little bit. It was also interesting because that is the first huntsman that we've had in our apartment in a year and a half.
Great. That's how they're going to start the new year. They say what you're doing on the first day of the year is what you're going to be doing the rest of the year. And we were vacuuming up a huntsman spider.
I hope not, because I don't necessarily want to be killing spiders every day of the year.
No, God, no.
Yeah. Let's hope it was a one-off.
Burn this place to the ground. And then we had very quick, awkward sex. I mean, it was both of us. Because both of us were horny as hell.
Pretty horny after that kind of a night. Yeah,
sexy people.
But we're also really, really tired.
We were like, we got to get this shit done.
Yes.
So we did.
Yeah. Then you wait for New Year's Day to have better sex.
It was still good sex.
Yeah, it was still good.
It was still good sex. And,
it was just.
I vaguely remember passing out.
Yeah.
Like a nanosecond after we completed. Yeah.
It's a good night. Good night overall, though.
Yeah, it's a
very good night.
We made up for it today. We had nice, relaxed sex today.
Yeah.
So hopefully that's what we'll be doing for the rest of the year. Instead of killing spiders, we'll be having relaxed sex.
Yes.
But yeah, so that was our New Year's Eve.
Really fantastic. Do it again in a heartbeat.
I'm going to say again, Our Secret Spot is a lovely, lovely place. We are definitely going back. Last night was enough to see it, and having gone to clubs in the States and know what these places normally are like. We will definitely be back.
Absolutely.
Really great layout.
And the event was very well put together.
It really was.
Organized.
The host and hostess at Our Secret Spot, very great people, very polite, very nice,
super nice people.
It was a really good experience. I can definitely foresee us doing it again next year. It was good fun, and I'm sure we will be back to Our Secret Spot.
Absolutely,
probably in the next
sooner rather than later.
Yeah, definitely. We're not going to put it off much longer.
No.
So yeah, that was the night. I think overall, I give it on a scale of 1 to 10, I give it an A+. It was really a lot of. It was great.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was tons of fun. I would definitely do it again. We didn't quite know what to expect going into the evening, and I would say that it met, if not far exceeded, all of our expectations.
Yes, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
So, what was your favorite moment of the night?
Ooh, favorite moment. I would have to say watching Sea on the Pole.
Yeah, that was all actually
because
a lot of fun.
I like.
That girl, again, she got game.
I like watching people on the pole. I like watching people in general. And it was interesting because at least in the I don't know about before we got there or whatever, but in the time that we were sitting in that area at the club, there were not very. I think one person maybe checked out the pole a little bit, and then C got up, and then of course after she did, a bunch of other guys and people were like, "Oh, I can do this."
It was great watching her do it, and then all these guys line up.
Yeah, and they're just relying on brute strength as opposed to necessarily sexuality or fluid moves, and. So yeah, it was just interesting to then watch everybody else kind of come in and like, oh, I want to try, and it's just fun. You know, it's a fun environment. Yeah.
And you're negative. What was the biggest disappointment of the night?
I would say the people pushing the boundaries and lack of consent issue, and just the thinking that they can come up and touch you, or open up the curtains on their own, that kind of but we talked about that, and it's just a very simple do you mind? That's all it takes. It doesn't have to be a big hour-long conversation. It's just a quick do you mind, or can I touch you, or can I do you mind if I join, or whatever. Just ask.
I'm gonna say Mrs. Adam is a lovely, gorgeous woman, and many people commented on that last night, and many people tried to grope her last night. A please and thank you will get you between her legs faster than anything else.
That's true.
Yeah.
Doesn't take a lot.
There you go.
Just common courtesy.
Bob's your uncle. Yeah, so, all right, that's, I'm going to agree with her, by the way, on the positives and negatives.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that was the night. Thanks for sticking around with us. I feel like we kind of went on and on, almost an hour pushing on this one. So we had a lot to say.
Yeah.
But thanks for sticking around.
It was a big night.
As always, if you want to talk to us, we now have a website that's sort of up. It's it's a work in progress, so be patient, folks. But it's www.bytheby, and that's bythebi.com.au, bytheby.com.au. You can find us at the Twitterverse, at theatomsoflove.com. And again, that's...
Not .com.
I'm sorry, that's right.
Twitterverse.
I'm new here. Look, it's sort of late on January 1, and I've had a lot of alcohol. And anyway, so let's try this again. On the Twitterverse, we're at the Atoms of Love.
ATOMS, Atoms.
Girl, that's right, Atoms. Or you can email us at... theatomsoflove@gmail.com. That one is a .com.
Yes, it is.
So yeah, ask us your questions. I realize that this one didn't really discuss a lot of the bisexuality side, but we're going to try to focus on bisexuality. But
it's also a lot of our experiences as well. Yeah,
our experiences as well, and with us being bi, and how we sort of try to integrate or cope with that.
And how we view things.
Yeah, and our opinions.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to say that's why you're here. It's for my opinion and her opinion. Our opinion.
But mostly his.
All right, y'all. Thank you so much. We definitely appreciate it, and we'll talk to you next time.
All right. Thanks for listening, guys.
Bye.
Bye.